Week 4. I understand it's coming to you late. Right now, I'm literally chilling on my knees because I'm in my new apartment. I would show you, but it's a wreck, and I have the camera and microphone perfectly set up, and I can't move it. Man, oh man. I feel like I'm getting less prepared for these every single week because I'm just in the process of doing shit. But, anyways, so last week, week 4. First matchup, I always address me. What the hell happened? Cooked, roasted, absolutely destroyed by Justin. And Justin had a solid game all around, but that's not even peak Justin. Like, for Justin, he doesn't say much. He probably thinks I haven't been putting respect on his name. Respect in this league. I'm putting respect on his name. He has won 4 games. The first one I thought was a fluke against Timmy. Not fluke, but that game was bad. And then just since then, he's been getting better and better, and he just put up a $115 on me, and that's a weekly occurrence. Herbert 27, Derrick Henry 18, Joe Mixon 17. He's going to be out a little bit, so that's going to be a little, but he's got Jonathan Taylor, and then he can go flip out and go put someone like Kenny Galladay, or Latavius Murray, who he has in now, but he's going to take a step back a little bit just because obviously Latavius Murray, Kenny Galladay, Jamal Williams, AJ Green are not Joe Mixon, but he's still got the consistency. I love Justin Jefferson. I love his matchup this week. Jamar Chase, I actually like his matchup a lot. I know Stephon Gilmore is actually thinking about going to the Packers. I just got that update. He wants to go there. Devontae wants him there. So that will be actually a really good pickup if they can, especially if they compare him with Jair when he gets back, if he gets back for the playoffs. But I like Jamar Chase this week against the Packers. I think with him, with obviously Jair being out, Gilmore won't be there because he's injured too. Stephon, Zadarius Smith also being out with the back. I think that the Bengals can actually exploit them. I think that'll be a high-scoring game that the Packers will win. And you got Tyler Higbee. I already mentioned Jonathan Taylor, who they just need to give him the job. I don't understand why they haven't just gotten him the job yet. But anyways. Yeah, so Justin's team, top to bottom, is just the one thing about Justin's team is his peak power. We don't know yet. We don't know if it's only 130. We don't know if it's 155. His peak power, that's the one thing that you could put him below other teams, but he's real good everywhere, and I need to finally, I have respect on his name, but I finally need to put that real respect on his name. Me, on the other hand, I didn't have a good week. Tom, emotional game. I'm not mad at him at all. I get it. Saquon, if Saquon wants to keep being this, then we're good. But Melvin Gordon didn't do anything. Keenan Allen really didn't do much. Odell didn't do anything. Baker missed him on a touchdown. I know they have. I wonder if he's going to get back in sync. TJ Hawkinson didn't do much. So we're just going to see. I got picked up Najee Harris in a deal that could be questionable for people because I gave up Keenan Allen, I gave up TJ Hawkinson, I gave up Damian Harris for Najee and Robert Tonyan. Tonyan's a touchdown or bust kind of guy, and obviously Najee Harris is showing to be the best player in that offense, maybe the best player besides TJ Watt on that team. I may be forgetting someone. Casey Hayward's also lit, but he's injured. So we're going to see how my team does. If A.J. Brown can come around, if Michael Carter can actually say something, or I got some P. Ryan if he can be good at the flex. I got a revolving door at the flex, hoping trying to make some moves here, but I'm still in play because I'm 2-2 and I'm in 5th in our standings right now, which the top 4 teams are tough, but I'm in 5th. So definitely doable. Game 2 that I'm going to discuss. We got Tyler versus Timmy. Timmy's the worst team in our league. He knows it. We all know it. It's not really even a question at this point. He has Dak. I traded him Dak. DeAndre Swift is now... He went from 2 weeks ago, Dan Campbell saying that we need to feature Swift way more, to this week now, they're like, whoever's hot, we're going to give it to. So yeah, Swift's not sure. Hines is up and down. Cooper Kupp is going to revert back to his mean. He's not a 6 point a game guy, but he's also not a 25. He's going to revert back to that 12 to 13, which is great as a wide receiver, but he's got other than Tyler Lockett, out of the non-top 5 guys, he's got the biggest boom. And maybe somebody else, but like he's got the biggest boom out of the non-top 5 receivers in the league, guys. So that's good. Obviously, he has D-Hop, but Jacoby Myers, really? After answer flex, Jacoby Myers. Okay, I don't want to discuss that as much as I need to. And we know what Tyler's established himself as maybe the favorite. I mean, one of the favorites, I should say, because we know what Camden represents. We know what Jared, especially when Steve MC comes back, represents. But we know Tyler. The one thing with him right now is he could, again, as I said last week, the difference between like him and an Ira is Ira's team busts. He lost this week. Dang, Carlson couldn't get him anything. But Tyler can win on the weeks he busts because he has so many. He has enough consistent. Eckler's consistent. Aaron Jones is consistent. Aaron Rodgers is consistent. Stephon Diggs, Darren Waller, and then you pair that with the Tyler Lockett, the Marquise Brown, who's actually been consistent this year, but you pair him with that, you get a Henry Ruggs, you get a Zach Moss, who's kind of touchdown or bust dependent, but he's been plus 10 every week. So Jerry Jeudy, when he comes back, to see what he does in that offense, to see how the Broncos are actually faring now that they're playing real teams and not playing the Jets. But no, he has maybe the best defense in the league right now in the Cleveland Browns. So he's fine. Tyler up and down, beautiful. Harrison Butker, who's going to get 6 points at minimum, just literally due to the fact that they're going to score 4 or 5 touchdowns and probably a field goal. So he's going to get 5 to 6 at minimum. We got an interesting one this week. The second closest game of the week, I think. Math-wise, it's right there. But one of the closest games of the week, we got Austin and we got Joey. Joey, I'd have to say, is the best worst team. Hey, Dan. You still on the phone with Alexis? You look hot. Joey is the best worst team. Or the worst best team, best worst team. I don't really know how to explain it. He's got Mahomes, Zeke, who is a human being, Devontae Adams for like 2 more weeks until Michael Thomas comes back, or whenever Michael Thomas comes back. And that's that. He's got up and down players of Robert Woods. McVay wants to bring him in the offense more, so that could be interesting. Tyler Boyd, who is going to be up and down now that T. Higgins is going to be coming back. Cole Beasley, who is Dawson Knox, who he picked up, which is solid for Gronk. So his tight end position is going to be solid, but he has a team that's so dependent on his top 3 people that it's hard, because if Mahomes doesn't go off for 44 and Zeke doesn't go off for 20, it's going to be dark. So that's why his team's tough. Austin's team, all around solid. Especially, he made the move with me. We'll see how that pans out for me. We'll see how that pans out for him. He got deeper. Clyde is showing to be a great number 2 for the last few weeks. See if he can still produce that. Obviously, the Bills this week's going to be a tough test. They've been one of the best defenses in the league. They also haven't been. They've had a cupcake schedule so far, other than the Steelers, but their offense is showing not to be great either. But yeah, so his team is less top-heavy and deeper now. Deontay Johnson and Keenan Allen makes his receiving core much better than the up-and-down Cortland Sutton and Allen Robinson. So, obviously, Deontay was injured. Keenan Allen was on my team. Upgraded at tight end with TJ Hawkinson, but also could be a matchup guy with Noah Fant. Damian Harris with no James White. In a better situation, you just throw last week's game out because it's the Bucs and no one runs on the Bucs. Absolutely no one runs on the Bucs. They haven't for 3 years now. So you're either a touchdown or bust guy if you're playing the Bucs. But yeah, no. Austin's team really rides on the health of Dalvin Cook, and if Damian Harris can be Damian Harris and actually run. So there's that, and then we've got Jared eking out a win over Ira. Another tough one. Oh, another tough one for Ira. Ira has the worst luck when it comes to that. Also, Ira, I hope you're doing well. I hope thoughts are going well for you. I'm here. I'm glad you were talking to me the other day, and universe will align. But, anyways, Ira. Miles Sanders is a problem. That's it. Your team is Russell Wilson, good. Chris Carson, good. This sucks because it's a Seahawks kind of barrier. Tyreek Hill. DeAndre Hopkins, you just picked up. I didn't mention that on Timmy's team. DeAndre Hopkins, you just picked up. George Kittle, CeeDee Lamb. You got Dalton Schultz in free agency. That's a big pickup for you, too, because you have that and you have the ability to trade. Julio Jones is on your bench, so you still have Julio. You have pieces that you can move. You need to update your running back, too, because Miles Sanders, while he is good and while I think he should get more touches, maybe hold on to him just for that, right now, he is not that at all. On the other hand, Jared, 3-1. As I said, if he can go 500 without Christian McCaffrey, who is questionable for this week, I think he'll probably be out, but he's questionable for this week. If he can go 500 without McCaffrey, stay above 500, his team goes right back to probably being the top team. I mean, he's got DK, he's got Calvin Ridley, he's got the league's best receiver, Deebo Samuel. Jesus Christ. Darrell Henderson. Hey, come here. Say hi. What are you doing? Don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like I'm a weirdo, and then you don't get to do that. Can you at least say hi to the American public?
Did you not just see how I had my hair? I looked like a wet rat.
You reminded me of, like, the geishas in James Bond, you know, like the Asians that are walking around.
You look like Mrs. Trenchbowl from Matilda.
I think you're beautiful, so it's good.
Thanks.
No problem. Love. You can. Anyways, back to fantasy. So Darrell Henderson, solid. I think they should definitely. Well, I mean, Sean McVay likes to base his around the run, obviously with Todd Gurley over the years, and then last year with Cam Akers. So I think Darrell Henderson's still a good play. I think he's a B running back. Flex to running back too. He's a dependent on the matchup. Logan Thomas is injured right now, so I don't really know what I really didn't even hear what happened to him, so I don't really know. It's I think he's game to game, but Jared's team up and down, lit. He has no worries. Then we got Joe DeZazzo versus Camden in a rout. That was about a 30-point game. Joe, we tried to tell you with Kirk Cousins. It has nothing to do with actually how good Kirk Cousins is. I think Kirk Cousins is probably he's the top half of quarterbacks in the league. I think that's for sure. Fantasy-wise, I think he's almost top 10. Roughly around there. But even when you look at his stats, when you least expect it or when you need him the most is when he doesn't come through. That's the only thing with him. He is a perfect matchup guy. Like, obviously, versus a Cleveland team, you're not going to play him because he's playing a good defense. Some quarterbacks you can play. Like, you could play Mahomes. Like, you could play Josh Allen. You're not going to play Kirk Cousins. He's a matchup quarterback, which is why having him as your sole number one, if his matchups are good at the end of the season and when you need him, you're solid. If not, yeah, and he could give you a stinker anyways. James Robinson's finally a human being. Nick Chubb trade's going to look at good for you. I think that Chubb, even though Kareem Hunt's been balling out these last 2 games, it'll even out always. Mike Williams had his Mike Williams game where after balling out, he just throws up a dud. I think he'll forever do that. I mean, I don't know. It's just, I was talking about him being consistent before. We'll see if it's just one dud game or if it's back to regular Mike Williams where he booms and then he busts and he booms and busts. Brandon Cooks, Chris Godwin was in too, so you didn't really make the wrong decision. David Montgomery going out, that's tough. But you have Cordarrelle Patterson who hits the Michael Vick button for the Falcons. I have no idea what the hell's going on with him, but he is a man wild right now. He is running all over the field. 3 touchdowns. I think like over 100 over 100 yards receiving and running together. For some reason, he's something. Terry McLaurin had a big game too. But so your team is fine. It's literally just going to come down to, can you replace Kirk Cousins? Because late in game season, when he has tough matchups, he is going to be tough. You just need to get at least a guy, or if you can rotate and you can pick the right guy every single week at quarterback, which I've debated on doing at some point, revolving door at quarterback, revolving door at, then you're good. But, and that's that. This time I'm actually going to freestyle the standings in my rankings this week. It's more of a tier thing because I'm not basically just going off only record-wise. But 10, Timmy. I don't think that's even questionable. I've gone through why Timmy's team's not great. 9, as much as I would want to say me, I would have to put Joey just because he's so top-heavy. I think he's got pieces that he can compete, and even though he scored more points than me, it's like I still can't get over 0-4. I can't. You haven't won a game yet. I understand it's fantasy, so it all depends on the matchups, and if you're in my schedule, you'd probably be 2-2 or 3-1 just because, but it's the thing with you is it's Mahomes, it's Zeke, it's Devontae Adams. That's it. One of those guys gets injured, you could be just as bad as Timmy. So, especially if it's Mahomes. 8, even though I am 2-2, I would say myself, I think my team has the potential to be 5 if Saquon stays the same, Najee, A.J. Brown gets back to A.J. Brown, Odell Beckham can get to some of Odell Beckham Jr., like it's all about situation and opportunity with them. It's not that like they're washed. So it legitimately just depends on if my team can actually develop, or if Michael Carter, or if Melvin Gordon or Antonio Brown or people like that can consistently be plays at the flex or at running back 2, wide receiver 2. That's going to change. 7, Joe, I think 1-3, not doing great because you have no quarterback. I think you're C+ quarterback, A- team. And then so that's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, Ira. I think Miles Sanders is a huge question mark for you. I think that DeAndre Hopkins is going to help your team, and I think now you have an A roster, probably an A roster with a D at running back, which makes that you down to like a B+, and the top 5 teams are kind of tough. Austin's at 5. I think Austin's team, now that he's made moves especially, I don't think there's much he's missing. I think it's just now his team performs or his team doesn't perform. 4, I've got Jared. Jared, until you get Christian McCaffrey back, I think you're going to have to be at 4. Once you get Christian McCaffrey back, it's going to be a different story. But if you're going to win without him, you're going to still at 4. 3, I'm going to do it. Tyler, I understand you thought there was disrespect when Timmy put you at 3, but I'm putting you at 3. Your team is very, very good. It is. But the disrespect I've had for Justin, I can't do it anymore. Your team is reliant right now on Tyler Lockett and Zach Moss. You have matchups every week. You have Marquise Brown. You're taking him out because you don't like the matchup this week, I think. And you like other people's matchups more. But the bust potential of your team makes you a little bit under Justin, because Justin at 2, with the consistency that he has in his roster, I think is phenomenal. I think everything with that's good. And then 1, Camden, because I think is a mixture of both of your teams. You coming over here?
No.
Why not?
Because.
Can you say hi to the public?
Can you just let me get ready?
1, Camden. I think Camden is a mixture of Tyler's and Justin's team. I think he has the consistency every single week, and his team is completely prepared. Like, there's not a hole on his roster, as I've said. And he has the potential to go boom. Like, Kamara hasn't even been great yet. Kamara's been solid. He's 13th ranked. It's been solid. Antonio Gibson, another guy, 14th ranked, been solid. These people have the potential to raise up. Obviously, it's the best tight end in football. Mike Evans, who's going to be more, especially now that Gronk's out and he's going to be out for a little bit of time. I think they're not going to rush him back because the playoffs mean way more than the regular season. Thielen, solid. Like, there's just no holes. Plus, he has maybe trade one of his quarterbacks, because he has 3 very good quarterbacks for even an upgrade at a position. And there's no holes. So, got 1, Camden. 2, you got Justin. 3, Tyler. 4, Jared. 5, Austin. 6, Ira. 7, Joe. Me, 8. Joey, 9. Timmy, 10. Next week, I'm not sure if it'll be on video or not, due to the fact that I'm actually going to have a real setup again in my closet. Actually, come with me, boys. That's my beautiful Dan. Yeah, mess in here. But most importantly enough, this small ass closet, that's where your boy's gonna be doing his recording. That's where your boy's gonna be doing his recording. But anyways, so it's the place. Furniture's ordered, on the way. In 2 weeks, we'll definitely be set up and ready to rock. We got a bunch of trash to take care of because we've got a bunch of stuff. I've spent way too much money. I love you all. We love you. The Warner LaMadeline home. Talk to you boys next week.